Well, hey, everybody. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. Let's talk plainly today. Let's talk plainly about Iran. Let's talk plainly about the mindset driving its leaders and why diplomacy, sanctions, and even threats haven't stopped them from marching towards the bomb. And this isn't about fear mongering. This is about understanding who we are dealing with and what kind of threat the world faces. Because until you understand the Islamic Republic's mindset, you will never understand why the usual playbook just doesn't work. Well, we also have to understand that the Islamic Republic of Iran is not a normal nation state. It's not ruled by elected technocrats or strategic realists like you might find in Europe or maybe even China. It's ruled by men who believe that power is divine and that compromise is weakness and that America is indeed the great Satan, not just metaphorically, but theologically. Their system was founded in 1979 on the ashes of a secular monarchy. What replaced it was a revolutionary Shia theocracy built on the idea that Islam must challenge the West, not coexist with it. I think this is the mistake that we make. That the idea is that Islam must challenge and conquer the West, not coexist with it. They see their nuclear program is not just some military asset like we would, but as a sacred shield. I guarantee that their version of Islamic revolution will survive against all odds. You can't negotiate that away with a summit and a smile and a handshake. This is not how that works. Iran's leaders saw what happened to Saddam Hussein in Iraq. He gave up his nuclear ambitions, he got invaded and hung. They saw what happened to Gaddafi in Libya. He gave up his weapons of mass destruction, he got dragged through the streets. And they also see what's happening in North Korea. Kim Jong Un, they kept their nukes, and now they call the shots. The clerics in Tehran giving up their nuclear weapons is suicide. To them, is suicide. They believe the only thing keeping America and Israel from toppling them is that looming nuclear deterrent. So, for more than 2 decades, the world has tried to talk them down. Sanctions, back channel talks, Geneva summits, secret messages. None of it has stopped Iran from enriching uranium, building advanced centrifuges, and hiding key facilities in mountain fortresses. Every pause in their program has been tactical. Every pause in their program has been strategic. A delay to regroup, never a surrender of ambition. So what are the real options? Let's be honest, very few. You can try diplomacy. Diplomacy only works if there's mutual trust. And Iran doesn't trust us. And frankly, we shouldn't trust them. Because anything that you say or do in the way of Allah is okay. So, reneging on treaties, lying at summits, there isn't any push to treat the infidel, us, with any respect. None. So when you're trying to have a conversation and negotiate with someone who doesn't believe that you should even exist, it leaves you few options. We can always apply more sanctions, but Iran has learned to survive them, and in some cases thrive, thanks to oil sales to China, Russia, smuggling networks, and their domestic resilience. Or we could just wait and risk a nuclear-armed Iran, a country that funds Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, and Shia militias across Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. If they get a nuclear weapon, they just don't sit on it. They leverage it to shield their proxies, threaten their neighbors, and possibly start a nuclear arms race across the Middle East. Sadly, that leaves one last option: military strikes. And that's what President Trump just did. US bombers hit Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan, crippling Iran's nuclear infrastructure, and what many experts say and hope and pray was the only action left with a chance of halting the program. Is it dangerous? Of course. Could it provoke retaliation? Absolutely. But doing nothing was not peace. It was simply waiting until the threat became permanent. Now, this doesn't mean that war is inevitable, but it does mean that the era of illusion is over. If Iran ever gives up its nuclear ambitions, it won't be because of a treaty. It will be because the price of pursuing them became too high, even for a regime that is willing to die for its beliefs. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. Because sometimes truth is uncomfortable, but it is still truth.